Beautiful things don't ask for attention.
There are movies that dominate conversations for months. They win Oscars, generate memes, and become impossible to ignore. And then there are movies like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Films that quietly exist. They don't demand your attention. They simply wait for you to find them. Maybe that's exactly why Walter Mitty has endured. Because, much like the quote that defines its heart, beautiful things don't ask for attention. And neither does this movie.
Trying to do like a pina colada song thing.
Pina colada song?
Yeah, you know, a guy posts an ad looking for a lover, and then his wife answers it, and it turns out they were soulmates and didn't even know it.
When The Secret Life of Walter Mitty was released in 2013, it wasn't embraced in the way that many expected it to be. Critics were divided. Some thought it was too sentimental. Others couldn't decide if it was a comedy, a drama, or an adventure film. At the box office, it performed respectably, but it wasn't the cultural event many anticipated. Directed by Ben Stiller, who also stars as Walter, the film was a remake of the 1947 adaptation of James Thurber's famous short story. But instead of simply retelling that story, Stiller transformed it into something much more personal. He created a film about modern loneliness, about routine, and about regret.
Yeah, you know, if you like pina coladas, getting caught in the rain, you know that song?
Oh, wait, is that Hall & Oates?
And while those are key aspects of the film, I think ultimately it's about choosing to live instead of merely existing. Ironically, over a decade later, that's exactly why people keep discovering it. It didn't need immediate recognition. It simply needed time. Walter Mitty spends most of his life inside his own imagination. Whenever reality becomes overwhelming, he disappears into elaborate fantasies where he's brave, charming, adventurous, the person he wishes he could be. At first, these moments are funny, but the more you watch, the sadder they become. Because Walter isn't escaping reality because it's boring. He's escaping because he's afraid.
Walter Mitty. Seriously. How the hell did you get up here?
I think in many ways we do the same thing today. Not through superhero daydreams, but through scrolling, through procrastination, through telling ourselves we'll start tomorrow, through convincing ourselves we'll wait for the right moment. Walter's imagination isn't the problem, his fear is. The genius of the movie is that nothing magically changes. Walter doesn't suddenly become fearless, he simply starts saying yes. He gets on the helicopter, he jumps into freezing water, he hikes across Iceland, and he climbs mountains. Every incredible moment begins with one terrifying decision. The movie quietly reminds us that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's movement despite fear. One of the greatest strengths about The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is that it trusts silence. Modern movies often explain everything. Characters consistently tell us what they're feeling. Music insists how we should react. Dialogue fills empty space. Walter Mitty doesn't really do this. Some of its most emotional scenes contain almost no dialogue. A skateboard rolling through Iceland, a plane disappearing into clouds, a man standing alone in the Himalayas. The movie understands that sometimes the most meaningful moments are impossible to explain. You simply have to experience them. This brings us to my favorite moment of the entire film. Walter finally finds Sean. For the entire movie, Sean has been this legendary photographer that Walter has spent years admiring. You expect this moment to be dramatic, but instead, Sean isn't taking pictures. He's simply watching the snow leopard. Walter whispers, "When are you going to take it?" Sean replies, "Sometimes I don't. If I like a moment, I mean me personally, I don't care to have the distraction of the camera. I just want to stay in it." And then he says the line that defines not just the scene, but the whole movie. Beautiful things don't ask for attention. It's a line that feels almost revolutionary today, because everything around us asks for attention. Our phones, social media, even our accomplishments often feel incomplete unless someone else acknowledges them. We become so busy documenting life that sometimes we forget to live in it. Sean understands something Walter has spent his whole life searching for. Beauty doesn't need validation. A sunset doesn't care if you post it. A mountain doesn't care if anybody sees you climb it. A meaningful conversation doesn't become more meaningful because it's recorded. The best moments often exist only because we are fully present enough to experience them. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty isn't really about traveling across the world. It's about traveling out of your own fear. It's about understanding that the life you've imagined isn't waiting somewhere else. It's waiting on the other side of one big decision, one difficult decision. And perhaps the greatest irony is that this movie lived by its own philosophy. It never demanded recognition. It never asked for attention. Like the snow leopard, like Walter himself, like the most meaningful moments in our own lives. The most beautiful things rarely ask us to look at them. They simply hope we're paying attention.